How was that for you personally,
it was
emotionally?
The hardest year of my life. The hardest year of my life. Not losing my brother, not losing my mom. I mean, that was all related. It was all snowballed. But I lost my identity.
Oh, boy.
I was basically told I didn't belong.
Welcome to the FocalFlip Podcast. Every week we take a deep dive into the mystery and stigma behind mental health and explore real-life stories of struggle and triumph. We aim to educate and encourage others as we bring together a diverse group of guests. From the streets to sanctuaries, classrooms to boardrooms, mental health does not discriminate, neither do we. Prepare to laugh, prepare to cry, prepare to be changed. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the FocalFlip Podcast. It's your boy Mike. Today, another special guest. This one's super cool. This is Mark Wehry. This is the founder, the host, the show of 859 Sports Radio. Mark, how are you, man?
I'm great, and to be someone's special guest,
yeah, man,
it's never happened before.
Yeah.
I've never been a special guest before, so
today
I appreciate being
guest.
here. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you came.
Yeah,
we were trying to make it work. He was working with me, man. He really showed me some awesome grace. We were trying to make this work, and I had some camera issues, and now today we've got to upgrade with our camera. So I'm really excited about it. So I don't care about bringing that up on this thing.
All right.
It's like those growth things for me are like really cool.
Yeah.
We try to celebrate that stuff. So I appreciate your flexibility.
Yeah.
And still making it out here.
Well, I appreciate what you do, and I have to admit, I'm coming clean. When I was watching you and seeing you, and there he is again. There's on my Facebook feed. There's this Kennedy guy. And I'm like, I was jealous. Like I should be interviewing these people. Like, I've got my legends from the 859, and I'm like, man, like, why am I not doing that again? And then you call me.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, oh yeah, like I can't wait to get there.
Yeah,
talk
man.
about 859 and everything else.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I'll go ahead and lay it up. For me, I'm a basketball nerd. I love it. I've played since I was 5 years old. Just enjoyed all of it. I've traveled a ton. I've been interviewed when I played, and it was always, that experience was really cool for me. For us, we had the Kentucky Post interviewing us, and then would wait till it came out and go and read it.
Terry Bamker?
Yeah. I mean, we get so excited about those kind of things whenever you'd have a good night. It's just makes you feel good. So, it's interesting when I followed basketball here in the ninth grade, and as I started to get a little bit older, I noticed a lot of the different radio networks. So I'm just a very observant guy, and I have an appreciation for people's craft and their art form. So the fascinating thing was, I went through my struggle over, whatever it was, 4 years I've had sober now, and I missed basketball, and I stopped coaching, and then I decided to get back involved. And so before I started to get confident and like even showing, because I didn't even like how I looked, like I was heavy, I didn't go to games, but I started to kind of listen to games, and I started to stream games. I would pay money for NFHS. Like I love the game that much, but I did not want to come out to the games. Yeah. So what was interesting was 859 Sports Radio was popping up everywhere.
And we were free.
Fact. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you guys find that in 2019?
2019.
That is the coolest thing. So COVID, man, it's like right.
Yeah.
Before COVID. And what was incredible is we were all kind of confined to spaces and whatnot. But you guys had this radio show that just kept popping up in all my feeds. And I was sitting here like, okay, what is this? And then I had people refer me to you, and I kept hearing the name Mark Wehry.
Awesome.
And it's just like, you got to go talk to Mark. Like, Mark does it well. He does it right. That's a cool thing. That's a testament to you as a person.
Thank you.
Because it wasn't 1, 2, 3. It was probably a good handful of people that said, you need to go chat with Mark. He's good people.
What shocks me, and I hope I don't, get people thinking about this, is how few people do it. Because, not that it's not tough. Doesn't have its challenges and all. It's not easy. No. But there aren't many that have dedicated radio to their schools. Like when I started, at Covington Catholic. Yeah. And it was like, we're not going to, like this is going to be everywhere. And there's we'll talk about my tree a little later, but there's others, but not as many as you would think. And you know why? Because it's not easy.
It's tough.
And there's internet issues, and there's
so much that people just don't know.
So but my goal is to be better at this than anybody, and be free, and just promote the kids. Yeah. Promote the kids.
Oh, it's amazing. And that's exactly what you guys have been doing. And that's a heck of an accomplishment to do in, 6 years, honestly. Because, when that pops up on Facebook for us, and you have a lot of different Facebook groups in Northern Kentucky that are popping around with sports, related to sports. A lot of times they're going to say, hey, how can I catch the game? People are referring 859.
Yeah.
Because it's very, not only that, you guys are pretty unbiased with the stuff. You're great with the players, the athletes.
Yeah.
So that's infectious for people.
Now,
they enjoy that. So when we go to the games now, if I know 859 is going to be there calling it, it's kind of funny. We'll look and you'll hear people say, hey, look, there's 859.
Yeah. Now, cool. I don't have a skin in the game. Like when I was a Cubcat, my God, we wanted Cubcat to win. That's our school. And that's, we want to keep winning. We want to go to state. And, it was us. It was our team.
Yeah.
And so you had an affiliation. And when you had to be neutral, there's neutral, and then there's maybe a little, hey, I really don't care, but I care a little. I might know these kids.
I know, man. I'm right there.
You had Nick Dorning sitting right here.
Yep.
And I mean, Nick's my guy, man. Nick's becoming one of those just better friend than he is a coach to me. And so, things like that. And people that, there's people that just receive us like.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Cooper. I said, nobody does it like Cooper. No, I know
Shout
they've
Cooper,
gone through a lot.
Yeah, they've gone through a whole lot this year.
But I'm a great judge of people.
Yeah.
And if I would never, ever be at one school again, not doing that again.
Yeah.
And for one, you miss out on so much.
Isn't it?
I'm at Dixie doing a Covcat 50-point blowout, and Newcath and Holmes are quadruple overtime with James Bolden. And I'm like,
Beetle Bolden, shout out Beetle.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And now it's like, now I get to pick that games of the week.
Dude, that is so dope. That's really cool.
And things like that. And I hate when I miss a big one. And I hate when I miss a call, when I miss I'm gonna do Connor Cooper tonight, and it's gonna be off the charts.
And then
all of a sudden Highlands and Newport.
I was gonna ask you that today.
Yeah.
What was that like when you have two that you've got to choose from?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm not a perfectionist kind of, so I'm like, I gotta get that one right.
Yeah.
So what's it like?
Well, it's not
making that decision.
You just have to move on quickly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works in reverse. I was trying to do the first Cooper Dixie girls game a few years ago.
Yeah.
And couldn't get accepted to be there. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is last minute. So go to Wes Caldwell, my boy Wes, can we come tonight? I know you got Walton Verona in the house, but 859 would love to be there. I say, oh yeah, come on, man.
That's so cool.
98-94 Walton Verona over Highlands.
Crazy.
It's like, wow.
Dude, it's
Did
fun,
that
isn't
work
it?
out?
It's fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I kind of envy you guys, and I get a little bit jealous. Yeah. Because you guys have such cool, fun access.
Well, we're gonna alleviate that a little bit. I'm not gonna put you on the website yet, but you and I are gonna do a game next year, and you're gonna be right there because you're gonna bring a lot.
That's so cool, man.
Nick Dorning's like, oh man, he could ball.
I love the game, man.
Yeah, so.
I love it. I love calling it. It's just fun. That would be fun to do.
Yep.
I feel like I do it as anyways.
But one of the best things about this is the relationships. Living that with Tim Sullivan, like going through that daily and being a part of that. And it's like, in the past, coaches would come and go, and it's like, sorry. And now it's like, oh man, Sully,
you feel it.
Oh, Sully.
I know.
Yeah,
that's what's been interesting for me too. Because when I for example, when I coached at Ryle, it was Ryle. Then being neutral, I've had people on my podcast, and I just appreciate the game in general. But you develop the relationship with the coaches,
and the ADs, and the parents, and the players.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing ever. So I joke with people when I go to games because I actually enjoy cheering. Mm-hmm. But when you cheer for everybody and you multiple kids on both teams, that is tough.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, so I'm just sitting here I'm supporting multiple different kids,
a
couple different coaches. It's just different, but I enjoy it.
Here's a big subtle difference between when I was at Covington Catholic and now. I was invited to more Cooper graduation parties than I was Covington Catholic graduation parties.
Man.
I was at Covington Catholic for 14 years.
Man.
And I've been invited to more Cooper graduation
parties.
parties.
Cooper love you so much, Marky.
Because they win.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Cooper Jags, baby. Specifically my guys, Sully, Justin Holthouse.
Hey, I love the coaches. I love the players. I love the parents. But I love winning.
It's fun, isn't it?
And, there's a reason we're at Cooper a lot.
There's
a reason we were at Ryle a lot.
Yeah.
There's a reason we were at Highlands a lot.
They win.
We just go to where the action is.
Where they get it done. Sweet. Yeah. What a great intro, Mark.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get rolling into this thing. Why don't you tell me a little bit about you? Who is Mark Wehry?
And I've got some notes here. Am I allowed to refer to notes? I don't want to forget anything.
Dude, you can do whatever you want.
I don't want to forget anything. Some things it's that's where someone asked me, are you nervous? I said, no, I'm just afraid I'm going to forget something that I wanted to say and I'm going to hate it.
Trent Steiner was the king of that. He texted me 15 minutes after he left, and he's like, Michael, it's really bothering me that I didn't get these two people's names right.
Oh, yeah.
So we held the episode till he came back.
Yeah.
That told me, those kind of things tell you a lot about people.
He wasn't as meticulous about doing my camera last year when I asked him last minute, and he told me, how long you need me? He said, for the game, he goes, I can be here about 10 minutes. So, all right, that's all I'm going to talk about Trent.
There you go.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. Yeah.
Ask your question.
Tell me about. Give me your background. Give me your upbringing a little bit. Tell me about kind of just your family history, and then we'll kind of roll into kind of what your craft is now.
I'll try to make this not be an hour, but
it's all good.
It could be. So I'm one of 8. I'm the 7th of 8 kids. My dad was should have been class of 1946 at Covington Catholic and was plucked out of his junior year at the age of 18 to go serve his country in World War II.
Wow.
And never got to graduate. So, grew up in Covington and Covington Catholic because of the Catholic schools, the Catholic churches in Covington built that thing out in Park Hills. That's what no one knows why it's called Covington Catholic, because the churches in Covington built it. And so, he was supposed to be there. And so 3 older brothers, all graduated from Covington Catholic. 3 middle sisters who were all at La Salette Academy in 1977 when it closed.
Where was that? Where was that?
It's still there. It's 7th and Greenup. It's a apartment building for the elderly now.
I'd never heard of that before.
La Salette Academy. They were the competition for Notre Dame. And they were all 3 there. And my one sister, Annette, was the last graduating class, and my other 2 sisters had to go somewhere. So they, went to Holy Cross. So one thing that took me to Holy Cross. But so we were just a sports family. Like, everyone played a sport. Everyone.
All 8?
All 8 played a sport. Now, by the time they got to me, the 7th, my dad was, he came back from World War II smoking cigarettes, got emphysema in his 40s, died at the age of 48 years old with 8 kids.
Man, rest his soul.
Never saw me play a game. Went to one of my athletic banquets, because it just, they were, the parents were spent by then. My mom had 8 kids to raise. She didn't have time. Came to a couple games, but these kids get these, grandparents, parents are at every game. Mm-hmm. They don't know how good they got it.
No kidding, man. It's so true.
Right.
That's so true.
So, but I was small. I was 5 feet tall as a freshman. So
you were small.
I wasn't, I was athletic, but I was always behind everybody. So
yeah, that sucks.
And I was just always, and like I said, my parents not real quick to sign me up for sports with so much to do, and my one income and an ailing father.
I'm putting it all together, buddy. Yeah.
So, so I didn't, there wasn't like, we're in inner city Covington. We're at the corner of, Robbins and Banklick and Holman, right next to John G. Carlisle Grade School. And I had the experience driving up here. I'm like, man, it doesn't take long to get into the boonies. We always called it the boonies.
I'm in the boonies, huh?
And like we didn't have that at all in Covington. You were 8 feet away from the next house. And, and walked out of our front living room. We were on the sidewalk. And Capri Bar next door. 5 bars within a pitching wedge of my house.
Wow.
And
golly, you got 10 in the house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, I didn't sign up for sports. We played on John G. Carlisle. That was our team. We played strikeout all summer. And I was talking to you about pop bottles and collecting.
We were just chatting about it.
Walking around looking for the 2-cent Pepsi bottle. And then they went to a dime, and we struck gold. And we would look around, and we got enough for a ball. We played strikeout all day.
That's such a cool story.
So I didn't sign up. And then my three best friends, Jerry Stewart, God rest his soul, died of colon cancer a couple years ago. John Legeman and Kevin Volpenheim. And we were inseparable. We were the fearsome foursome.
The fearsome foursome.
That's what we called ourselves. And
cool.
They said, Wehry, you got to play baseball with us this year. Or first was basketball. You got to play basketball. So Cottage AC basketball. Charlie Volpenheim ran the leagues. He was the parks commissioner. His dad ran the leagues. And I mean, I was not very good, but I was fast and I could dribble a little bit. Jim Shoemate was one of our coaches.
Okay.
And so
were you a point guard?
I was, but just because I had to be called something. So yeah. So I played with a lot of good talent, and then I had the best seat in the house to watch Dickie Beal play when he played a year down, and we were we were a year younger, but he played down in 2 grades together. So, I mean, I got to go to Turner's and see Dickie Beal play and put up 30 as an 8-year-old kid.
Yeah, I wish I would have seen him. I've got to see, I've heard so much about Dickie Beal.
And, so here I am.
Personally got to watch him play.
Yeah, I'm 10 years old, and I'm watching Dickie Beal on the same court. I'm sitting next to Jim Shoemate, but like I said, I had the best seat in the house for the games.
Cool,
but so then it's like, you got to play baseball. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll sign up for baseball. Cottage AC. We were incredible.
Really?
We had Bill Blassingame, who played at Ludlow. Denny Horline played at Covington Cali.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Volpenheim. Joe Wheatley played at
He's
Ludlow.
Volpenheim's, man.
Oh, I know. And so
Volpenheim's on Volpenheim.
This is so funny because I wasn't in that circle, and they, half the kids came from Monday.
How did you get in?
Half the kids came from Covington, and I'm there because Kevin Volpenheim's dad drove me. That's the only reason. So I'm sitting on the bench. The very first practice, we're at Mike and Field, and Don Fuller was our pitcher. He was phenomenal, and I'm trying to fit in. He leans over to me. He goes, it's an NCAA tournament. He goes, man, how about Rutgers last night? And I go, what's a Rutgers, man? Like, I'm thinking, what's Rutgers? Rutgers? And I'm like, yeah. How about Rutgers?
How about Rutgers, man?
Recently, I actually Googled it, and it's like they won some big NCAA game in 1976. And I'm like, that's what Donnie was talking about, So I was just always trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Always trying to fit in. But I was, like I said, athletic but small, and just rode a lot of coattails to a lot of fun teams. And, but.
Was it a struggle trying to fit in for you?
It wasn't, because I was with my 3 best friends.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got that there, right?
Playing baseball, and not just
cool.
playing, but the era.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Bengals started.
What years?
Bengals started in 1968, so I was 4. So
okay.
We all started to become Bengal fans. The Riverfront opened in 1970.
Mm-hmm.
All-star game. Pete Rose knocking over Ray Fosse. My 3 older brothers were there.
I'm so jealous, man.
So I got to hear stories. Like I was in the room listening, but I was absorbing it all. But I didn't play, and I didn't go. I was 6 at that All-Star. They weren't going to waste a ticket on me. So, then you got the Big Red Machine, Well, first you got 72 World Series, and you got 73 playoffs, Bud Harrelson and Pete Rose. And then you got, 7, and the Dodgers started to get good. 74, and then 75, 76, So it was like, this is the greatest time to be a kid anywhere ever.
Yeah, even now looking back, I can see that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So
I tell people all the time, I wish it was years ago.
Yeah. Oh, I would go back.
A lot of the stuff.
We're going to talk about F3, my F3 buddies. Yeah. We had an event a couple weeks ago. We were playing putt-putt, and some of the kids showed up. Like, this guy's son is 12, and everybody gets a nickname. So his name's Thomas. I call him Tank. Thomas the Tank.
Thomas the Tank.
I said, and he plays for Midland. And I said, are you playing with your best friends? He said, yeah. I said, this will be the greatest year of your life.
Dude, 100%.
And it was.
What's his name?
Thomas Alter.
Thomas Alter. Shout out.
Yep.
Midland, dude. Come on. Let's go.
It's a Northern Kentucky Midland.
That's okay.
They got Northern Kentucky Midland.
Yeah,
so yeah, it was playing with my buddies. It was the era. And then my connection to my oldest brother, Billy, class of 72, with Terry Bemker. Mm-hmm. And so they were at Covington Catholic during the glory years. So I had to just hear about it. 67, 68, 69, 70, 71.
Dynasty.
And in 67, they lost to Earlington on the buzzer. The clock should have run out, and the refs, they let it go, and the guy got a rebound, laid it in. I heard it all. Von Lehman and Dirksen and Knoll.
Dirksen, let's go.
And
shout out.
I heard it all. I knew every story. And
wow, let's go. That's
but then
awesome.
and I'm like, it's like, man, I can't wait to be a part of that. And then my father passed away. And
what year was that?
1975.
Okay.
And so my mom's raising 8 kids.
You were 11 years old?
Yeah. She's got 3 teenage girls. In an area where we'd be playing baseball at John G. Carlisle, and one of the Hensons would be walking through sniffing glue, and we'd have to wait. And they'd get through the field, and we'd start playing again. And so, next to a bar. And so my mom's like, I can't do this here. So we moved.
Okay.
Lost Select closed. We moved to 21st Street in Covington, and I became Holy Cross. But my brother Billy was, he was the oldest. He was I don't like the word black sheep, but he was the wild child. He was the fun child.
And all my listeners,
you and Billy would have got along. Billy had more fun than anybody else, put it that way. And he was, had his challenges, and then he, got smoked and drank, and just it affected the rest of his life. And I was the student council president. I was the one that Mom relied on to fix things and do things, because my 3 older brothers couldn't do anything. My 3 middle sisters couldn't do anything. And I was 10 years old and having to figure out how to fix things.
Yeah. How old were your older brothers when your dad passed away?
10 years older than me, 9 years older than me, and 7 years older than me.
Wow. Yeah. No kidding.
So they didn't have, it was like we didn't have a relationship.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, for sure.
And the older I got, the more I did not.
You see that with them big families sometimes too.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not Billy and I just did not get along. We didn't have anything in common except sports.
Right, yeah.
And we would talk about sports, and he'd
that was your
tell me about. We'd talk about the Reds. So he took me to my first Reds game, 1972. He was 18, and he says, "I'm gonna make a deal with you."
Good year.
Yeah, he says, "I'm gonna make a deal with you." He says, "I'll buy you a hot dog and a Coke if you don't tell Mom and Dad that I smoke." I said,
"What'd you do?"
First thing I thought of was, "Who cares? Like, everybody smokes. Like, why would you care about that?" And Dad smoked. It was killing him, but he
just didn't want to disrespect
and I'm like,
his dad.
Right, he didn't want them to know. And I'm like, I was starving. I'm like, your secret's safe with me, buddy.
I got you, fam.
Where's my dog, man? And so but the older we got, the farther apart we grew.
That's unfortunate.
And but 10 years older than me.
And you already had a gap. It's
right.
That's kind of what happens when you have those gaps. That's
it was when you're 10 years younger than your brother, like you don't you don't. It's not a factor. It's not an issue. You know, like
I'm 6 years younger than my sister, and we've struggled, but we're still, cordial with each other. But
right.
And she lives in Florence, and I live right here.
Let's see.
So, yeah.
So I talked about how I was just never really fit in, but I could talk. And I talked about Kevin Volpenheim. He's got a cassette tape at his house down the street here off Freedom.
Independence?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And it's us pretending to be Marty and Joe.
Oh, that's awesome. I used to do that stuff.
And he's like, it's awful, it's terrible. But my mom would go to parent-teacher conferences. Like, he's doing really well. He's getting A's and B's, and he's really smart, but he just talks way too much. He's just way too social. He just, you know. And I never really thought, parlay that into something.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't think as you're going through to apply that then, right?
Right. And like I told you, like I was the fixer. I was the doer at home, and I was getting power tools as a gift when I was 14 years old.
Yeah, man.
And so I was going to be a carpenter. And you know, John Wysong, who was at Holy Cross, started their football program. He was my math teacher. And he's like, have you thought about college? I said, no, because I'm not going. I'm going to be a carpenter. He said, no, you're not. I said, yeah, I'm going to be, like I'm going to be an apprentice. I'm going to do this. I got it all figured out.
Got it all planned out.
He said, that can be your hobby, but you're going to college, because he brought in a computer, and I saw a computer, and it was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And still to this day, I'm a computer programmer. But he said, you're going to college. So he basically, the male in my life that had the most influence on my career and my going to school was John Wysong. And so I applied to Thomas More, and I got in. I was a financial aid poster boy.
Really?
You're one of 8, and your father's dead, and your mom doesn't work.
Oh my goodness!
Like, can we pick you up and take you to school? You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a perspective, man.
Yeah. So, but I just never thought broadcast. I never thought, do something in sports. It just.
Yeah, you always loved
the
it.
path that I took was not to make money doing this. Not that I do, but if I had made that decision when I was 15, 16, I might have made a career at this. But.
Yeah. So before we get back into the broadcasting stuff, computer programming, tell me about that. What's that like?
Well, in 1982, when I graduated high school, they said if 70% of all college graduates went into computer science, they wouldn't fill the demand in 1982.
Ooh.
So
wow.
Yeah, it's just, it was watching a TRS-80 Model 2 Radio Shack computer run a basic program was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
It sounds like the coolest thing.
And I'm like, that's what I
want
to do. So I met my wife when I was 16. I knew what I was going to do when I was 15. I knew I was going to be a computer programmer, and had it all figured out. Yeah, Terry.
So cool.
Shout out Terry Elfers.
Shout out Terry. That's super cool.
Yeah. So,
I see. I'm fascinated by that stuff now.
And I
back in the day, it wouldn't have interested me, but now I'm fascinated.
I get off on it as much today as I did in 1980.
That's cool. So you enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
Dude, what a full life to live.
Yeah. 33 years at Scripps.
Yeah. Wow.
34 this year.
Shout out Scripps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did some work in the publishing media space. I have just an incredible amount of respect for anybody that works with tech, especially the programming stuff. And like now that I can do digital marketing and some SEO things, there's a ton of work that's involved in all this stuff.
Yeah, and it's getting harder though.
100%.
Old dog, new tricks is 100% true. Like I'm involved.
Struggling with it.
I supported PeopleSoft for 25 years. And then we got rid of it and we got Workday. You see the golfers with Workday.
Yeah, Workday.
Workday is the best.
Yep.
But what I do is not easy, and it's tough.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Are you nervous going to Workday?" And I said, "I feel like I've been married to the same woman for 25 years, and I came home and she was gone, and there was another one there."
Wow, really?
And I said, I don't know anything about her.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Wow.
Yes.
Shoo-wee, that's a rough feeling.
Yeah. So, but that was 2019. You're at 859. This is a big year.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me more.
So, be more specific.
Well, you got me in the computer programming stuff.
Yeah.
You go start 859 Sports Radio in 2019, right?
Yep. But there was a lot before that.
Then get me in there.
Well,
that's where I want you to walk
I
me through.
wanted to get involved in sports, and
Okay.
I wanted to talk. And Vic Clark was the coach at Thomas More, brand new football team, 1990. I got a T-shirt from the first game. It says, "Building a new tradition, Thomas More Blue Rebels."
Wow, 1990 Operation Desert Storm.
It was a medium. And I took my 7-month-old son, 6-month-old son, to the game. It was at Dixie. And so in 1994, I called Vic Clark, and I said, "Vic, my name is Mark Wehry, and I graduated Thomas More in 1986, and I'd love to do some PA announcing if you need me." He said, "Call Lou Esselman. He's our PA guy. Here's his number." Click. Like, got no time for you, Wehry.
Yeah, no time. Here's his number. Call
We
him.
got to go undefeated this year. So I called Lou, and he said, "I do the men's games and the women's games, and I could use you tomorrow. We got a women's game, and I can't do it." So I went to wherever they sold records. I can't remember where it was. Oh, it was, what's that? TE, whatever.
Where?
They sold CDs and DVDs and entertainment something. It was out the mall. Something.
Oh, dude, I remember them all.
Yeah. Entertainment something.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's going to bug me now.
Sorry. We'll figure it out later.
I know
But
there was like an FYE.
and I got all the jock jams.
Oh, yeah.
And I had my boombox. And so
Jock Jams,
and I'm like-
1990s.
I'm like, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Thomas More College on, blah, blah, blah. And I got my music out. And these parents are like, "Who is this?" And starting lineups, the Bulls music. you know?
Dude, serious?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Serious?
Oh, absolutely. And now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
Number
boom,
3,
boom,
Amy Burke. And
See, I would play the serious theme in my bedroom when I was shooting basketball in my bedroom door.
oh, man, I was like,
I was MJ, Pippen, Cartwright.
it
I was everybody.
And these girls had no idea what hit them. So they scored 100 points that night.
Holy smokes.
Yes.
What did they average for the season? Not much? Not that much?
A lot, but
Yeah.
not that. And
Not that much, huh?
Kim Pruitt was a 3-point leader for the AMC. And I mean,
Sheesh.
and they were just like, "We need you back." So I did a couple more games, and Lou said, "Hey, how about you take over the women and I'll do the men's games?" And I said, "Perfect." So,
So the environment, they enjoyed that right away.
Right. Brand new arena,
Was it thrilling
Connor
feeling when you
Convocation
first?
Center.
Was it pretty thrilling?
Oh, I could not wait. I could not wait to get to the next game.
You're just made for this.
And so, Ted Bushelman was the media guy out at the public relations guy or media relations guy at the airport. And on the side, he produced live cable. These games were live on not Storer, but Inside Cable, whatever it was after that.
ICN6?
Yeah, they were live. It was called Cable One.
Cable
And they
One.
had a truck, and and John Asselon was an announcer.
Wow.
And Denny Wright did football games. And every once in a while, they would need me to fill in for the cable. And so I got a taste of that. And so they opened up a new football stadium, and I was the PA announcer for the football stadium. And
That's cool.
and then I would fill in, on the air with Denny Wright. And so that was between 2000 2004. And so that's where I got the PA, the fun and all that. And then the actual, you got a director in this ear, and you hear yourself in this ear. And, they're like, when I ask you a question, don't reply. Or if I tell you to do this, don't say okay, like learning that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so,
It's fascinating.
and so that was fun. So one game, it was going to be me, and I didn't have anybody to do it with. And I asked my 10-year-old son, we were together. He's going to do the game with me because he knew all the players.
Oh, I love it.
And so we burned
something I
through
would do.
through our pregame, and Jason Eichelberger was the sports information director, and I'm like, man, this game should get started soon. And he leans over, he goes, "The refs aren't here. Keep going." And we're like,
Okay.
oh, stage fright, man. Like, and then we fumbled through it, and then they canceled the game. But that was my first experience with something going wrong and having to improvise and all that, because that stuff happens even today.
Yes, it does.
So then we opened up a brand new gym at St. Pius, and the athletic director had a son at Covcath, and she asked Mike Listerman, "Would you do the blue-white scrimmage at Covcath or at St. Pius for Covcath, the basketball program?" And she said, "Hey, will you do the PA?" I said, "Oh, heck yeah, that'd be fun." I'd seen one high school basketball game in probably 10 years because my kids were playing. And so I got the rosters, and I got my boombox, and I got my music out. And I mean, I'm putting on a show.
Popping.
And the reason she knew I did it was because I did the David Moorhead 6th grade tournament at Pius every year. And these kids, same way. Like, treated them like professional, and they just ate it up. So she knew I did it. So she's like, "Can you do it?" And I said, "Yeah." So about halfway through the game, Mike Listerman leans over and he says, "Would you be interested in doing internet radio for Covington Catholic?"
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Okay, what year was that?
2004.
Okay, yeah, so you were in the
October 15th,
range.
2004. And
cool.
So, but it was that same thing. Like, I didn't go there like that. I don't belong here. I'm not one of them. I was going right back to my childhood. Mm-hmm. I was going right back to, can you do this?
Imposter syndrome.
Like, yeah. And it's like, if that's what you tell me, is that what it is?
That's what it is, buddy.
And so it's like, there's got to be somebody more worthy to do that than me. So I showed up. Mike Listerman said, "We're going to have a media day over at like the Cincinnati Club or something. Andy Furman's going to host it, and all the 9th Region coaches are going to be there, and I need you there." So I show up, and we're going to drive over, and it's team picture day. He makes the bus driver take his shirt off and give it to me with Covcath on it and puts me in the team picture. I'm standing there like, and you talk about, what'd you call it? Imposter syndrome. I'm like,
the bus driver's shirtless.
Yeah. When does someone get a hook and say, "Yank, you're gone, buddy"? And I'm in the 2004, 2005 team picture. It's probably still in the lobby.
Oh, can't wait. I'm gonna look for it eventually.
And I've got my No Shave November going from the
can't wait.
The Boston Red Sox. Remember the beards?
Yes. Somebody find this, okay? If he can't get it to me, I can find somebody find this for us.
So I've got my...
Because we're going to picture a shirtless bus driver after it, too.
He wasn't in the picture.
I know, but he's going to be on the bus shirtless.
So I got my goatee. It's all red because my beard came in red.
Yeah.
Red, and so anyway, so I'm gearing up and I'm getting excited, and this, I'm starting to believe a little bit. And so now it's game time. Well, we practiced on the freshmen. So the first game of the year was Covcath at Newcath, and my son was a freshman. He didn't play, but I knew every kid out there. Yeah. Every kid out there played with or against my son. And so I was very comfortable. And then Newcath, they had a Pangallo on it because every Newcath...
Come on, shout out Pangallos, I know.
I even said it's a rite of passage. Like, there has to be a Pangallo.
Pangallo got to be involved.
And so I'm, and I pulled that off. We had 4 listeners, and I know 2 of them were my family.
Yeah,
and so
probably all my subscribers.
So I wasn't nervous, and I got through it. Okay, and that was November 29th, 2004.
Oh, okay.
And then, but before, but how
we
did
had a really
how
bad
did
winter
I
that winter?
How did I get to even know what to do?
Yeah.
Dave Schabel. He was the inspiration for Mike Listerman because Covcath had coming off a state semifinal run in 2004. Mm-hmm. And Mike knew Dave Schabel did internet radio 2 years before me at Bishop Brossard. And I'm doing a Thomas More game, Thanksgiving tournament or something. And he shows up like the day before I go on the air and teaches me how to dial in, teaches me how to log into the software, how to do the settings.
That's cool.
How to do the headphones, splitters, a little computer, dial in AOL,
Yep, never forget it. Sat there waiting on it forever.
And so that's how we started. And so he got me going. He's the grand poobah. Dave Schavel.
Shout out.
Still does it.
Still does it.
Yep.
That's the coolest
Still
thing
does
ever.
it. And
so what was it? So the Catholics started these radios. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm like,
and I was going to say,
Covcat.
Yeah.
Brossard.
Yeah.
Like,
yep. We'll get the Holy Cross in a minute. So, and I think I'm ready. I got the roster for Covcath. And so Tuesday, we're supposed to do Lexington Dunbar, and they're late.
Paul Dunbar.
And I didn't have their roster yet. And so now I'm fumbling. Now I'm scrambling. Now I'm like, oh.
That would stress me out, yeah.
And so they finally get there, and I get like a handwritten roster. And we're dialing in. It's just me. They wouldn't let me have anybody with me at first because they didn't know. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what was going to happen. And I by myself. I had no stats. I had no partner. I didn't even have a bottle of water. And I barely had a roster. And so
you had to make it happen.
And if you go to 859 Sports Radio, go to the menu, Covcath Archives. It's out there. Second one is Lexington Dunbar. And you can scroll forward to about the 4-minute mark because you have pregame music. You have pregame music because people queue up.
Yep.
If you're getting on and you're queuing up, and then I go live, then everyone hears the intro as they're listening to the music. Dave Schavel talking.
Yeah.
So I got people queuing up, and we go on, and I didn't know I should have written out my pregame script and all that stuff. I didn't know, So I go on the air, and I want to make sure I get this right. So about the 350 mark or whatever, I intro, I'm Mark Wehry, welcome to the broadcast, all that. And I say the words, we would like to, and I stop.
Did you freeze?
And it was 10 seconds. And during that 10 seconds,
that felt like an eternity.
I said to myself, what are you doing here? You can't do this. You don't belong here. You don't deserve this. Why are you here? You don't know what you're going to say. Hit stop and get out of here. Save yourself because you are about to crash and burn, and better to do it right now and get this thing out of the way.
Bang. Y'all heard that right there in 10 seconds. Y'all heard that, right? In 10 seconds.
They say your life
flashes.
That's
how quickly he slipped on that with his thoughts.
When your life is on the line, they say your life passes in front of you.
Yeah.
Every one of those things, and I'm like, and then
it's like a freezing panic.
And I say, okay, don't hit stop. And on the program, you can hear it. I say, sorry for that brief pause, but
and that was all she wrote from there.
750 broadcasts later, Covcath Radio.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So, and people just absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can tell you right now, I love it. So people are always referring to the Covcath Radio, man. Like it's just always been a thing. It's always been, and it's just so well done up there. Tough environment. Hate Covcath.
Yeah.
God, I hate Covcath. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I just had Thielen on here.
And this is funny.
And I was trolling him on that.
Everyone thought I went there. People who didn't know me.
I did.
They all thought I went there.
I originally did.
And Chris Fisher asked me to the class of 82 reunion because, John Legeman, Jerry Stewart, Kevin Bopenheim, all in that class. I should have been there. And I went to that class reunion after a game. And I said, this is the only group of Covcath Colonels that knows I didn't go here. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So to
take me in the Holy Cross.
2 games later, I get with Mike Aduli and I go, I've got to add a color person, and I've got the person. My nephew, Jason Elvers, class of 99, state champ, played in the Mud Bowl, football, played baseball, lived a half a mile from my house, always at my house. I said,
perfect.
He's in communications.
That's perfect.
At Northern.
You can't, that's no more perfect. Yeah.
So I call him and I give him the sales job. He goes, I don't think so. I did not expect that. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, this is gold. This is Covcat. This is you, man. This is you. Like, I need you. Like, you're my connection to Covcat. He listened to a broadcast and he called me back. He goes, I'm in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
cool.
It was Mark and the J-Man. It was like it was like Mike and Mike. It was
that's pretty dope. Yeah.
It was Mark and the J-Man. And we did it for 5 years, football, basketball, baseball. He was there. And then he met Kristen. And I haven't seen him since. No.
That's great.
I'm kidding. No, but he was gone for a while.
Yeah, I get it.
So then I've,
Man.
added other staff. And, Kevin Connor, football games with me ever since. And,
It's impressive, like that, just being able to do it multi-sport.
yeah. Oh, yeah. They didn't ask me to do football.
That's what I'm talking. Like, it is.
I called up Gaduli. I go, hey, we'd like to do. My son was a sophomore, backup quarterback,
Yeah.
and they're going to be good. And I'm like, Jason, you want to do football? He says, heck yeah. So we did football, and
It's incredible.
they didn't ask me to do it. I'm like, let's buy more broadcasts. We only had 20 the first year.
Did you ever struggle with like imposter syndrome with football or with any of the sports as opposed to ones you knew better?
No.
Really?
No.
That is awesome.
After my 10-second pause, I never looked back.
Wow.
I
that's a
never,
good one.
ever had a second, and I finally belonged, and I finally had my niche, and my talking was finally an advantage and not a disadvantage, and I was the voice, and it was like, people would refer to me. There's the voice, and
Wow.
I'd be in Panera, and see, like, there's only one of me, but there's
Wow.
5,000 of you people that see me. Hey, Mark. I'm like, Terry's like, who is that? I don't know. Never saw him before. And, you kind of get like that celebrity kind of feeling like, hey, man, I am finally somebody that has a talent and people know about it.
A craft.
And I love it. And I was all in. My mother passed away in 16.
Wow.
And
Same year my dad did.
really, she was, she's barely from the morgue to the funeral home. And I'm on the air with senior night. And they said, what are you doing here? I said, because it's senior night. And she would say, you've got senior night. And it was, it's like, this is what we do.
It's amazing. Wow.
People depend on it. So just one quick story.
We do, man. It's really cool. Like it's a thing. It's become a thing.
We're on the air.
And I want you to know, because I'm in the southern part of the counties.
Yeah.
And that's what I always tell a lot of these people from Newport and up on the river and stuff. I'm like, look, we're all watching the same stuff. We see it.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to tell you about it, like, and shout out the people that, highlight those folks. Like, it's just important to me.
Well, we would get emails from Grandma Ruth in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, Cooper Theobald's.
Yeah.
He's the coach now at
Covcat.
And his grandma.
That's cool.
Hey, I'm down in Florida. And, and so you're reaching people.
Yeah.
We wanted to keep a map of little dots, We're in Paris, So we're on the air. We think we're on the air. We're in trouble. And I got an email. Hey, my name is Ryan Riesenbeck. I'm in a tent in Iraq. And I just got off a 14-hour post. And what's wrong with the game? I can't get it. I'm in Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Shout out Ryan Riesenbeck, baby.
Yeah.
I've watched some games with him this year.
Really? And
I was waiting to say, let's go, Ryan.
I was like, we've got to get this working. We never did. So I emailed him the rest of the night.
Wow.
So the next game, they played Moeller. And I found out who his dad was, and I got his dad to record a message to Ryan. And I said, Ryan, you got to listen to the Moeller game. And at halftime, I played the message. Ryan, this is your dad. I'm proud of you. I love you.
Wow, bro.
Yeah. So it's like, then that's when you started to realize this is not just a game.
This is bigger.
Yeah, bigger than a game.
Yeah, way bigger.
Yeah.
That is a remarkable story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Riesenbeck, you never told me that one. So, wow.
Yep.
That is an incredible story.
Ryan.
I actually, I've known kind of Ryan, but I got to watch some games with him this year through a friend, Jason Humphrey. And we become kind of friends. And then I actually got sick not long ago, and Ryan like texted me like all this holistic health stuff, and I'll be if it didn't help me. You know, he's just a good dude.
Yeah.
So that is really cool that there's that's interesting. There's the Cov Cath tie there for Ryan. I see that.
So
that's cool.
One big thing that happened with this whole gig at Cov Cath is the relationship with my brother, who was the Colonel, Mr. Colonel. And when he found out I got that gig, it changed him. It changed us.
Is it their older brother?
Yeah.
The oldest?
We were probably the most two distant of the 8.
Right. That's what you said.
We became the closest of the 8. And we talked after every game. He listened to every game. He became Bill the producer. First, I called him the sports information director. Hey, here's an email from Bill, the sports information director. And he came up with this idea called Twitch Notes, This Week in Colonel History. And he would go to the library and he would look up what happened in 1969. Instead of Twib Notes, Twitch Notes.
Yep.
This Week in Baseball.
That's slick.
And so, and that was 2004. And all of a sudden in the summer 2015, he was diagnosed with lung cancer and had it about a week and diagnosed about a week and passed away on July 19th, 2015, the week of the All-Star game at Great American Ballpark.
Yeah, Frazier.
So he was at the first All-Star game in Riverfront.
Wow.
And he passed away the week of the last All-Star game at Great American.
Wow, what a story.
And so it was
this was the oldest brother. There was an 10-year gap.
Yep.
So you guys were the most distant, never really connected.
Yeah.
And then you end up coming together for this 11 years like you wouldn't believe.
Talked every day.
That's so cool.
Talked every day.
And that's what you were saying earlier in the story was about the love for sports.
Right.
That was the one thing that was connecting you guys years ago.
Right.
Similarities, man.
And the one thing that he did was he would do scouting reports and send them to Listerman. And then he would send them, he worked at Holmes for a while, and he would send them to Dave Henley. Dave Henley, yeah.
Dude, shout out Dave.
And
Coach Henley, man.
And we just had lunch after one of the basketball games at NKU this year, and we went to Skyline Tavern, and he was talking about those scouting reports, and so he became involved.
That is a neat story.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yep. So
that's what I like happening on this podcast.
Yeah.
That just watching that full circle.
Right. So
and I can relate because there's an age gap with me and my sister, we just love each other, but we don't connect. Yeah. The fact that came full circle.
Yeah. So just to tell you what kind of guy he is, what kind of uncle he is, what kind of brother he is. I mean, he was waiting for the 2014 state championship his entire life. He was a 7th grader in 1967 when they lost at the buzzer. He was in the back of the bus club at Covington Catholic. It was basically a group of students that went on road trips on the bus. Terry Bemkers will talk about this. Won't tell you what all happened on the bus, but it wouldn't happen today. And they got a spread in the yearbook.
Yeah, I remember that
and so
back in the day.
He was, as I told you, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71. I heard them all. And he's been waiting for the state championship in 2014 his entire life. And I was supposed to be a sponsor for my niece in Middletown for confirmation at the same time.
Yeah.
And I had a record 3,500 listeners that day. And I said to my brother, Ted, I said, you know, Covcat has a chance to play in the finals. He said, yeah. And I was talking to my brother, Billy, and he says, I'll do it. I said, no. I said, you've been waiting for this your whole life. He said, I'll just listen to it later. He said, I'll do it. So he stepped in for me, for her, to miss the biggest game in his life, to be a sponsor in confirmation, because family was that important.
It was.
And
wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we've got a little bit of time left here, so I want to make sure. I've only got a little bit left. But I want to make sure I want to get a couple of these things in here.
We got to talk about 859.
What's that?
We got to talk about 859.
Yeah, we got to talk about 859. We got to fit. We got to throw in F3.
Well,
you know,
we'll touch on that, but I got to talk about 859.
Yeah, let's roll into 859.
Right. So Billy passed away in 2015. My mom her heart broke in 2016. Couldn't take it anymore. She passed away. In 2017,
16 was a hard year.
I was told to never run again because of my meniscectomies in my knee. And then 2017 was when things started to unravel at Covington Catholic. And that's probably a show, but I could see it coming, and I knew I was kind of being set up a little bit because they didn't want. I don't think Covcat knew how to get rid of me.
You felt a departure coming.
I
felt pressure.
The administration at the time did not hire me.
Okay. Yeah, so
I think they kind of felt like it wasn't their thing. They didn't. It was my thing. And
what new administrations typically do are like new business owners.
Right. And I think they tried to figure out how to get rid of me and couldn't do it. So some things happened where should not have led to my being departure. Let go, but it was. So, and that's 2018 season where they won state. And so
how was that for you? Personally,
it was emotionally. The hardest year of my life. The hardest year of my life. Not losing my brother, not losing my mom. I mean, that was all related. It was all snowballed. But I lost my identity.
Oh boy!
I was basically told I didn't belong, I tell people I love where I am. I hate how I got here because it's like it should not have happened that way.
Yeah.
And not after 14 years and 750 broadcasts.
Yeah.
It should not have ended that way, and it did. I'm glad it did. And if you have been following news lately, I ended up in a lot better place, but it was tough. I mean, I talked to my priest. I wasn't suicidal, but I was depressed. I was down.
You had to have been.
I didn't.
I've been in there in a different type situation, and I was the same way.
So
I started to isolate, anxiety, and then was depressed.
Right. So I got a call. Jason Elfers. He said, Mark. He said, man, Connor girls and Ryle girls are number 1 and number 2 in the state. Let's do the district finals. And it was like, at first I'm like, nah, I don't know, man. I don't even know how I would do it. I don't have the equipment. I don't have the. How am I going to do it?
How are we going to do this?
What are we going to do it on?
Jason's like, hey.
Right. So in a day, I came up with. I'm like, well, let's come up with a name. What's everything have in common? Well, the area code. We're all in 859. What colors? These are my favorite colors. And
I'm just kidding. I like Tar Heel Blue now because of Mark. That's the only reason I'm going to like it or wear it.
Good. And I'm a UK fan, but I love these comics. So,
the colors are dope.
So we had the name. We had I had the service Meredix because Dave Schabel because Easy Stream went out of business, and I said, so I called Stan. Or I email. I think it was Jim Demler. And he's like, nah, it's too late for that. I'm like, man, just tell me where to sit. You don't got to do anything. Nah, it's too late. So then I said, we'll just do region. So I called Stan Steidel, grand poobah of all A classic. God rest his soul. I said, Stan, we got a new broadcast network, 859 Sports Radio, and we'd like to do the region, and we'll do every game, boys and girls. And no one else did them. So I said, so we started, and we did 14 games in 8 days.
Oh, wow. What a great move, man. You made your move.
And Ryle girls won region. And then a week later, we're at Rupp Arena, and Ryle girls won state. And 859 Sports Radio was on the map. Yeah, Maddie Shearer, Lauren Schwartz.
Oh, I know.
Bree Crittenden.
I know. Some of my Ryle boys were getting whooped by them pre-practice during the day.
Douthit.
Jaden. Yeah. They were legit.
And so 859 Radio. So before every game, I would play this song from Imagine Dragons called Believer.
Oh, I know. I've already got a little bit of backstory on this one. Go ahead.
And
it's a good story.
Because I had to come up with a pregame song. Yeah. And so Believer, I had gone to an Imagine Dragons concert in the fall at work, and I fell in love with them. And then Believer says, there's 4 parts of the song. First, I'm going to say, I don't like the way things have been. You know, I don't like this feeling, basically. Second thing is, don't you tell me what I can be. I'm the master of the sea. I'm the man at the sail of my sea. Like, I'm in charge, not you.
My ship.
You don't define me. And then third thing is pray to people up there and get some guidance, and they'll look out for you. And then the fourth thing is that you're the face now. You people, you fans, you're the blood in my veins. And it has been that's the music I play pregame almost every game. And that's why, because they don't define me. I do.
That's a beautiful thing.
And I believe I stopped. And thank God for Jason Elfers calling me up, the J-Man, and getting me out of there and getting me off the mat.
Yeah, I say you were super down.
Right. And
shout out Elfers, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a really cool story.
Yeah.
What a really cool story.
Yeah.
I think that's the neatest thing too, because I'm kind of cut like you. I carry like a chip on my shoulder, just because I've been rejected a lot, and I'm super talented, and I face so much rejection, that I let it completely deflate me. Mm-hmm. And but I never quit. Yeah, because I'm a winner.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care if the chip on my shoulder is a person. I don't care if the chip on my shoulder is mental health. I'm fighting a battle. I'm going at it one way or another. Yeah. And for me, I live on music. It inspires me. I'm an emotional person. So I'm the same way. Actually, I'm pretty intentional with all my reels that I put out. Mm-hmm. So there's always an intentional meaning with the song in the reel based on the clip. So that kind of stuff, I'm the same way.
Right.
Like, it's meaning. In life, you said you did what you loved, what you were around, and then you're actually having meaning and purpose in your life and enjoying it.
Yeah.
And instead of just cowering away, Elfers calls you and you're just like, you know what, let's go. That was, like Quentin Day would say this, because I've got Rook on the mind now. That was your make your move moment.
Yeah. Once I got through the how we gonna do it.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It was 100 miles an hour.
I felt the same way with this.
Yeah.
It was the how, because like I knew I had all this. I knew I have it all.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, we're gonna have our 500th broadcast on 859 Radio.
Oh my God, you got so much to teach me, man. It's gonna be so cool.
And
congrats, man.
Thanks. Yeah.
Congratulations. You guys deserve it too, because like I said in the beginning of the episode, you guys do a great job broadcasting.
Thank you.
You've developed a great reputation. Like I said, the kids, like, they love it.
Yeah.
They look forward to it. Like,
the interviews after.
So I go to a lot of games this past season, and I've said this in my episodes before. A lot of times I go by myself, and I'm not looking to hang out with a ton of people. I really enjoy the game, and I like observing. When you're there, man, everybody knows you. And when you're like popping through, because you would have your drink going up, you know, or somebody be bringing you something, you'd be there. It's that's a vibe. That's a whole thing.
Yep.
Kudos to you for that, because
And I don't ever want to like.
that's your personality, man.
Don't be a burden to anybody. Where do I sit? Can I get, what can I do?
Yeah.
Nothing. Just tell me where to sit.
That's the coolest thing.
You just tell me where to sit, and I run my electricity. And I get there an hour and a half early. I test. I
know when you get there, we saw you going into Rupp, and I hadn't met you before yet.
Yeah.
And my daughter and I went down to watch some games.
All right.
And so we were literally probably like 40 steps behind you guys when you went into the left door, and we had to go all the way up.
Okay, yeah.
And I was telling Elena, I was like, that's 859 Sports Radio right there. And then I showed her like on Facebook, the logo.
Right.
Because we're big into like the branding and logo. We think it's cool with all the Northern Kentucky stuff. Like,
yeah, we're probably over 25 games at Rupp.
Dude, give me
Highland State Championship
get
boys.
me down there, man. That is the mecca for me.
Cooper's
I love Rupp Arena.
Cooper's 3 in a row. Four in a row.
Come on, man.
No one's ever done it.
Hold House, my boy.
No one's ever done it.
Love
Justin.
the guy.
Yeah.
I love him.
Does it the right way. And,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So that is an incredible story. I mean,
and my staff, David Hartman,
yeah,
John
dude,
Campbell,
we got to hit the staff.
Nell Fuchs, Doug Schlomer's done games with me.
Nell Fuchs?
Kenny Shields has done games with me.
Oh, my goodness, man. I love Coach Shields.
Yep.
I can
Jason
tell you
Elfers,
every story that Coach Shields
Greg
does.
Spencer.
Wow, everybody's involved?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we work with students. And I was always,
I noticed that. I've started to see some of the high school networks coming up, and they're doing it's really cool.
Yep.
Connor's been doing a heck of a job.
Yep. Drake Biddingham. Yeah. Love the Drake.
That's so cool.
Love the Drake.
But look what it's kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And then everyone was always, my Holy Cross peeps were like, why don't you do this for Holy Cross? I'm like, they never asked me. I said, Cupcath asked me every time. I can't believe you do that for Cupcath. I'm like, they asked me. So I said,
so you love what you do.
I'll help him start it.
Yeah.
I'll help any way I can. So we picked Terry Niehaus. And he's been on the air for 10 years, 400 broadcasts, Holy Cross Radio.
Terry, shout out, because he hit me up.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. He hit me up. He's actually going to be like sending me like a shirt.
You got to get him on here. Yeah.
That's cool. That's what I was talking to him. I said I'd love to have him on at some point.
Yeah.
But I had to get the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Wehry on here first, man. Yeah. Man, come on. This is 859.
Yeah. The 859.
It is
we're known as the 859.
The 859.
And then there was a someone tried to do it, called themselves 859 another name. And everyone thought it was me.
Ooh.
And they were on Twitter and they were trying to do games, and I had a guy come up to me at Highlands and said, "Man, your cameraman's terrible." I said, "I got the best cameraman in the business." I said, "Yeah, Bill's the best guy." He's Kevin Bill Bartlett.
Stuff is great.
Kevin Connor's brother-in-law. I said, he's the best. What are you talking about? What game? Highlands Dixie. I said, "Oh, it wasn't us. That was the other 859." So then they kind of stopped, but
because it was a hobby,
and they picked my colors too.
And it wasn't sustainable. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm warning everybody out there right now.
Yep.
Don't even think about treading on this. Yes, sir. There it is. There it is. There it is.
I will be sending my talents to FocalFlip.
That's good. This is so awesome. You know how excited I am to go watch some games now?
Yeah.
To come see you and hang out. And
now that you're not a snob and ignoring me.
I don't snob, man. I'm a loner. I struggle with mental health, guys. So.
All right. Well, we'll help you with that.
I'll be coming up and give you hugs. I'm a hugger.
All right.
You good with that?
You already did it once.
I'm gonna do it again.
Yep. But,
so before we roll, man, because we're running a little bit late,
right.
you gotta tell me about. I think this is cool. I'm located here in Independence, Kentucky. You've shared with me some marathon stuff. It's just amazing. It's one of my goals on my bucket list.
Pig streaker, all 26. I like streaks, man.
He's done the pigs, all 26 of the pigs.
Yeah.
And then F3.
All right.
Just give us a real quick plug on F3.
F3 stands for...
This is actually really, really cool.
Yep.
Sometimes people send me stuff and I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And then like sometimes it'll hold me and I'm like, wow.
Yep.
This is what helped me, guys. So listen up to what F3 is.
Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith. It's a national organization. You go to f3nation.com, learn about it. And I, being my IT guy, I'm an IT guy. I maintain the f3nky.com. And so Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith. And I would see these guys at Panera. My wife and I have been going there for 10 years every Saturday morning. And some guys are like,
Jack.
this. His nickname's Dumbbell. Everybody gets a nickname. Mine's Pig. So I would see these guys. I'm like, I can't do that. Look at him. Look at that guy. I can't do that. I can't work out at 7 a.m. and then, no, can't do it. But I would go to Silver Lake, and then COVID hit, and then they made us wear masks, and I couldn't cancel that fast enough. So I would just walk. I didn't lift. I didn't do anything. So I would see these guys. Well, I collect those fluorescent yellow construction shirts. It's my way of being rugged, like one of those,
Yep.
Figured Terry might see me out there mowing the lawn with my 8.5 or my fluorescent yellow, my City of Edgewood, or Michael's Construction or Arts Rental, and, maybe he might do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get me somewhere. And so I saw one of these fluorescent F3 shirts. I said, I need one of those. How do I get one of those? And they said, come to the workout. I'm like, I knew you were going to say that. So I went to the workout.
Got him.
And so the 5 key principles are: it's open to all men. It's free. It's always outside. We the instructors are peer-led in a rotating fashion, and it ends in a circle of trust. And I went 3 days a week for 5 months and completely transformed.
Yeah, your whole body.
I'm not going to do a Covcat bus driver on you, but I'm not going to show you.
Hey guys, it's going to come up at the end of this video. I got to figure out how to put that sucker up there.
But it's incredible, and great group of guys. And we use a cinder block as our weight.
Yeah, see, I love that. You guys use a
38-pound cinder block instead of a $2,000 Bowflex. It's a $2 cinder block.
Dude, I eat that stuff up. I'm farm raised, so we use what we can find. Right?
Monday, May 5th, day after the pig. We'll see. We're starting at the Memorial Park, and that's be our 6th AO area of operation. It's a lot of military stuff.
That's so cool.
And push-ups, everything has a name. Like a push-up is not a push-up. Yeah. It's a merkin. Why you say merkin? Because we're Americans.
Oh,
what's the most common American exercise? A push-up. We're Americans.
Yeah,
we don't do Russian twists. We do American hammers.
Oh, this sounds cool. I'm doing this. I want to do it. I'm going to do it. So is it 2 hour, 1 hour?
45-minute workout. And then about 15 minutes of circle of trust or whatever,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Where you say, you pray for people. You unload some heavy. Man, I'm going through this at work. I'm going through this at home.
In the circle of trust?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yep. And so it's, f3nky.com. You'll learn all about it. We're at President's Park in Edgewood, the Armory in Fort Thomas.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. He sent me stuff, and I kind of felt embarrassed that I hadn't even heard of it yet. It was pretty remarkable.
South Fork Park in Florence.
Yeah, and he texted me and said it was coming to Independence, and everybody knows me out here. If it's coming out here, I'm going to go check it out.
What's that grade school in Hebron? Something Wild, Idols or not?
Thornwild.
Thornwild. Mm-hmm. I've only been there once, so I don't have that memorized.
Yeah, it's a cool
Thornwild.
Yeah.
A lot of them are at 5:30 in the morning. But
see, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm a morning guy.
Yeah, but
that's just me though.
It's awesome.
That's cool. Well, hey man, I'm thankful to have you out. This has been cool. I 100% will support you, 859, that whole team, because all those people, I didn't realize that was that whole staff, and they have all, liked my stuff and supported and encouraged me in some of these different Facebook groups and stuff. So thank you.
But I love, you do an amazing job. Like I said, I was jealous of you because you're killing it.
Well, thanks, man.
Every other, I'm like, oh my God, there's another one. Oh, now he's got Nick. Oh my, he's got Sully on. Like, how am I not doing that? But I got my legends. If you go to 859sportsradio.com, legends from the 859, Kenny Shields, John Whimsy, Doug Schlomer.
I'm telling you, man, I'm trying to get Whimsy at some point. Whimsy almost came with Ricardo. But that's what I see. I love that. Oh. I love guys like you. I love history.
Did you listen? Did you listen to
so
mine
much
yet?
So much appreciation for it yet.
Yeah.
So
did you listen yet?
just you sent me one where he's sitting on the porch.
Kenny Shields,
I thought
John
so.
Whimsy's back porch.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking.
Lincoln Grant School right there.
Yeah. Is it raining?
Yeah. With Tom Thacker.
Yeah.
The first player ever to win a NCAA championship, an ABA championship, an NBA championship. The only person ever.
Yeah.
Tom Thacker from Covington. Yeah. The projects at Covington. Yeah.
Man, when I was doing when I was getting ready to start the podcast, it was all going to be mental health, a lot of recovery stuff. And then I was just sitting here saying, I got to have a sports twist to this. And I actually had people saying, you shouldn't do that. And I was like, the way I'm going to do it, I think everybody will figure it out eventually, and it was...
your niche, man.
Yeah. So that's what's been kind of cool is watching my sports community get my back, then this network. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love that. Like there's the relationships I'm blown away by, And
we have one sponsor, and I should mention them.
Yeah,
one
hit
sponsor. Our only sponsor is Cricket Wireless, Ken Morgan he's a Newcath guy.
Sweet.
And someone wanted us to do a game for Newcath Beechwood and needed video. We were audio only. When we started, we were audio only. That's why it was radio. We didn't have video.
Yeah.
Too much bandwidth. And
I know.
I paid for my own internet, so it's like
too expensive.
One video broadcast is 5 gig.
Yeah, I know.
I was getting 3 gig a month.
I believe it.
I was paying for 3 gig a month on my own pocket.
It's expensive.
So Ken gave me a hotspot because he owns Cricket Wireless. And I went to give it back, and he goes, keep it. I'll be your sponsor. Free internet. Mention Cricket Wireless.
Shout out Ken Morgan.
Yeah.
Cricket Wireless. That's awesome.
That's our only sponsor.
That sounds great. FocalFlip's looking for sponsors there, Cricket Wireless. I had to get some humor in there, y'all. Come on,
don't be taking it from me.
I'm taking nothing from you at all.
But he's the
That's
best.
cool, Ken. That's amazing that you did that. That's why those kind of things, that's legit.
Supports the high school sports, supports youth sports. He's a coach, I think, helps run the Campbell County Devils, the Red Devils.
That's awesome, man.
And
very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that and making it capable for them to put.
Don't edit that out. That needs to be in.
I'm actually keeping everything in. It's all staying in. We vary, like when you have good ones like this.
Yeah. Good.
Ain't nothing to cut out of this.
Good.
So check us out on the website at www.focalflip.com. Check out Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, YouTube. We got some new gear coming in.
Michael Kennedy is the guy.
We love you guys, and we are...
Can't wait for the second episode. Episode 2.
So guys, you should like and subscribe and hit that
okay,
I can't get it.
Okay.
I'm not used to this.
Okay. Hey guys, subscribe to my dad's video and just like the bell.
Hit that like and subscribe button, hit that bell,
And stay tuned.
100%. Love y'all. We're out.
I love that.